Okay, we were Norris Ferguson. And Norris, maybe you should tell the people your title, seeing that it is so long. I tried, couldn't get come up to speed with your title. So I understand you're with FIFA. You're a FIFA entity. So could you tell the people exactly what you do presently?
Okay, I'm a FIFA Safety and Security Officer and also a FIFA Match Commissioner. You may want to question what that is. The FIFA Match Commissioner is the representative of the organization, which is FIFA, and we are responsible for the elite control of the execution of the event. And as the Safety and Security Officer, as that dictates, we ensure that everything as it surrounds that event, which is football, that the place is safe and secure for FIFA's officials, the players, and spectators.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, but as current and as recent as the FIFA World Cup in Russia, I understand you were doing some sort of duties with the organization?
Yes, I was one of the FIFA and Safety and Security Officers, and my venue was Kazan in Russia.
Okay, how was that experience for you?
Well, one can say out of this world. When you look at the level of organization and the relationship developed over time in that period that we worked, it is an experience that will live on in my memory. I mean, those people were well prepared for the masses that arrived, and they were willing to learn, having received the Confederation Cup in preparation for the World Cup. I think they did a tremendous job in the execution of Russia 2018.
And that part of your forte, do you do it in tandem with anybody, in teamwork with anybody, or is it an individual sort of description?
Well, each venue you have two FIFA officials, and in fact, the local organization committee, they are really responsible for security, but we are there to advise, support, and ensure that the execution is to the standard of FIFA.
So, just going back a little bit before that current information, how you reached to that level? I know you were around the Super League, and I met you, around W Connection. How you evolve into such a valuable asset for FIFA from the local? I mean, you were with the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association and Federation previous to that. How were you aspiring? Did you see yourself reaching this level? Is this something you're comfortable with, or you just fall into place?
Well, your question is really twofold, because as an administrator, I was former assistant secretary admin, as you indicated. I was the president of the Southern Football Association for a short while. And during those periods of operation, it was seen by the executive that I was the type of material that they can use at the level of administration. So hence me getting into the administration of football at the level of CONCACAF and FIFA. In terms of the security aspect of it, it might be noted that I was a former police officer, having experience in the special branch, and that FIFA saw as an asset to assist them in what they were trying to achieve at that level. So they invited me to the workshop, did my training, and I worked at the Under-17 World Cup in India in 2017. I worked in the Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand, and I worked at the FIFA Russia World Cup in 2018.
Within the same description as the present position?
As the present position.
Okay, so you're an experienced man in that position now. So just now you'll be running FIFA department in that category then?
Well, I'm not too sure if I have reached that capacity, but if the position presents itself, I think I'm capable of doing it.
So In terms of the match commissioner, were you match commissioner and safety and security officer running concurrent, like, or was it different appointment at different times?
Well, match commissioner and FIFA safety and security officer are two separate operations. Essentially, and initially, I was a match commissioner, and having seen the opportunity for the position of security officer based on my background and experience, I applied for the workshop and was engaged, and so having done the training, was appointed as FIFA safety and security officer in New Zealand, India, and Russia.
Now I'm seeing this certificate for FIFA CIES. It's a postgrad diploma. How you come by that, and what was the incentive to pursue something like this?
Well, having seen the advertisement for the study and recognizing that I was in fact doing similar type duties for FIFA, that is event management per se, I felt that getting myself certified in the field as well as improving on my knowledge, I thought it was in fact a very good program to sign up for. And so I applied, was accepted, and completed my program in 2016.
How long was the program for?
A 2-year program, 2014 to 2016.
Okay, and you find that work for you? It make you any more experience in terms of putting things together, in terms of the security thing, or you still have that knowledge, you still carry on that knowledge, or you escalate to another job where it is just a background feature right now?
Well, what I can say as a result of doing the program, of course you would have been exposed to more modern approaches to the things that you do, but what it also did is lay emphasis on what you thought was just simple operation. You recognize that over the years you were in fact doing the correcting, and this program was just solidifying your knowledge.
All right, so okay, thanks again for the added information, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much, same to you.
All right, it's a privilege for us to tell the public that you are in Trinidad and Tobago, and you have a history also of the football in Trinidad and Tobago. You were a player. You're not just an administrator. You had a career in playing the sport.
That is correct.
Right. At what level you played the sport? To what level, and what was your foundation?
Okay. Well, I would probably call myself a nomad because I went through most of the leagues within Trinidad and Tobago. I played at the level of the CFA, which is the Central Football Association. I was at one time the captain there, and I represented Central in, at that time, what we call the interleague competition. I played also in the Port of Spain League. I represented Police, and I was the captain at one time, just prior to the formation of the National Super League.
And that's first division, second division?
And that's first division.
Okay.
So the National Soccer League started in 1974, and as a result of that, they took players from different divisions to make what they would consider a very strong team to represent Police in the National Soccer League. So hence me going to play in the Southern Football Association, of which I also represented South in that competition as well.
There was household names in the Police football. Did you have the privilege of playing with some of these branding like Steve David and these guys? Anybody familiar that we, at least I think I was a little earlier, but is there another, those also those really dynamite players like Steve and these guys? Did you have the privilege of?
Yeah, well, when I played at the Port of Spain League level, Steve David and I played strikers together, and we had players like Kent Moraine, Arnhem David, Mikey Hackett. All of those players represented Trinidad. Noel Francois, so we had quite a good package of
The
players.
police are a strong team.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah. So and prior to that, I guess at that point you would say you sort of formed, you were formed at that time, but what formed you in terms of your minor football career?
Well, I mean, as a young player and people seeing a level of football ability, they encouraged me. I started playing with the different minor leagues, Movina, Francis, John Thomas, and so on. But it should be noted that to me, the most significant part of my football career is having gone to Canada in 1974. And I knocked around with a team called Irie. And from that team, they had asked for 2 representatives from the team to go and train with the Canadian national team.
I remember that.
And Winty Hackett and myself were the 2 selectees, and we went on trial with the Canadian national team. And I must confess, it was a very successful one. As a matter of fact, the coach had actually asked me whether I wanted to represent Canada, but he didn't know that I was just up there for a short period. So when I told him, well, no, he was a little dismayed. But more than that, is the guy who was my roommate, he was playing for a team called London City.
Harry and those guys. Harry
In the North American Soccer League at the time. And he asked me whether I wanted to play professional football. And as mannish as I think I was,
always.
I suggested to him that, of course. So he said, well, okay, when I go back home, I'm going to ask the coach and so on. And the same Sunday night, he called me and told me that the coach wanted me to come to London City, and that's in Canada, to try out. They were having a practice game on the Wednesday. So I traveled to London City on the Monday, and the Wednesday night they played the professional team against the amateur team, and the amateur team won 2-1, and I scored the 2 goals for the amateur team to represent them, and as a result of that, the very first game was against Toronto, Italia, on the Friday. And I made the team.
You played for London against Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually played 2 games for them. I can't remember the other team now, but I had to return to Trinidad, so hence the reason. They actually wanted me to stay because it was a 6-month stint, so they told me I could have come back, after and go back home and so on. But I didn't want to risk because I had a permanent job in Trinidad.
2 areas before the FIFA thing we covered. Another area is your W connection. That's how I got affiliated or in connection, no pun intended, with David John Williams and these guys. How long you been there, and what was that experience for you? Because I guess winning is seem like a trend with W connection. So how was that experience?
Well,
and did that experience help you anyway for where you are now with FIFA, or did the administrative part of the Super League help? Which you're carrying more with you right now?
Okay, well, the connection, as you say, with no pun intended, has no bearing on where I am now at FIFA. But what it did for me is during the stint of the W connection, this reminder that was the start of the professional league in Trinidad. And at the time, I was the Assistant Secretary Administration. So when it was discussed that they wanted to form the league, a call was made to David, who always had a passion to form a professional team. and they applied and got in. So when they got into the professional league, the very first employee of W Connection was me. He hired me as the manager of the team, and then we hired the coach and selected the players.
Was it Sir Charles at the time?
That's Sir Charles.
So you were there from the initial stage
I
with
was
Sir
there
Charles?
from the initial stage.
Okay.
And of course, my success in the 2 years there, 1999, 2000, I won Administrator of the Year in both years. And then Mr. Warner asked David,
That's Mr. Jack Warner.
Jack Warner asked David whether he would have allowed me to come to the professional league as a general secretary. And David thought it was a tremendous appointment for me. So he allowed me to go and take up the appointment.
And from there, yeah, was that in the professional league?
Professional league.
But weren't you with the Super League at one time too?
I was the coordinator of the youth program for the Super League.
Is there anything ahead for you,
Well,
or is that it?
Well, part of the requirement at the level of FIFA, where their safety and security officers are, they will not want us to indicate where we are going next, because you're preparing to secure a country, and they will not want us to expose our appointments. But I can say that for one of the upcoming tournaments in the very near future, I will be one of the FIFA safety and security
Besides the outing, you're retired, right?
I'm retired.
Okay, and so what's next for you? Any projects besides the FIFA assignments and stuff?
Well, I am a consultant as well, a security consultant. So we do background checks and that kind of thing for clients. We do risk assessment for clients. So we have 1 or 2 clients that I'm still attached with, and that's part of my collective.
Is there anybody else in Trinidad and Tobago that you may know of that doing similar duties to you, or are you the unique one in Trinidad and Tobago with the FIFA safety and security?
I'm the only one in Trinidad and Tobago that is doing the duty of FIFA safety and security.
And how come it's not public knowledge? How come it's not something publicized, or when it's the only one in a country, I would think it should be something as an achievement for the country itself, especially at the FIFA level, which is the highest level in the world. So do you know, or you just do what you have to do and the rest takes care of itself?
As you know, there's a saying that the king has no honor in his own home. I don't want to say that's what it is, but I don't know whether people really appreciate what I'm doing, flying the flag of Trinidad and Tobago outside.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
That's
it
very
is.
unfortunate. So, well, anyways, with your future appointments, I know there's a lot of different things coming up, and I wish you all the best. And I want you to continue doing what you do, waving the flag of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of whether it's, as you say, maybe it's not within, but at least it's international. So, and I know from being around the FIFA events and stuff, it is very important that you wave your national flag. That's what FIFA is all about. So just continue your work and stay focused, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right.